Welcome to part 3 of the PLAAFP out of a 5-part series. Today we're going to be talking about data sources that build a picture of the student. My name is Dina Crook. I am the Parent Education Coordinator for the Lake Travis CPAC. I am also a retired professor of instruction. I taught pre-service teachers at Texas State for over 20 years. I have been a special education and dyslexia therapist in the public schools, and I also have a student in Lake Travis with special needs. The PLAAFP is a part of the IEP document, so you always want to request a copy of the draft IEP 5 school days prior to the ARD so that you can review the IEP document and be an informed participant in the ARD process. The PLAAFP should build a rich picture of the student's present levels of academic and functional performance, weaving together a variety of data sources. So looking at this weaving, we see lots of different colors and lots of different patterns. Our PLAAFP should be like that too. We should have a variety of data sources telling us different things about the student, what they're good at, where they might struggle, what accommodations they might do well with, and other observations of who that student is at the present time. Some examples of data sources that can be woven together to build a picture of a student include, but are not limited to, grades for each subject, teacher and or therapist observations, and results of district and state assessment data. I'm going to take each of these and talk about them a little bit more. Grades for each subject. I want you to know that in Lake Travis ISD, grades 3rd through 12th use a numerical grading system, while grades K through 12 use a developmental rubric. I think that grades can show really a good pattern of growth or a pattern of challenge in some subject areas. When I look at a PLAAFP, I always like to see what the current grade is, but I especially like to see what the grade has been across the different grading periods, because that really gives a rich pattern if we're staying consistent, if we're starting to get better, or we're starting to maybe decrease in grade. It really can help us to have some good conversation. Why are we seeing his grades declining or her grades declining? Or, wow, intervention and accommodations must be really working. We're seeing grades get better as the school year progresses. So having those patterns of grades really give the committee something to think about and discuss in developing the educational plan. Here's an example statement that you could see in a PLAAFP. Currently, blank grades in his 4 core classes are as follows: English 85, Algebra 2 72, World History 93, and Chemistry 70. For his electives, he is currently making 100 in PE, a 93 in Latin, a 75 in Matters, and a 100 in MAPS. And MAPS in Lake Travis ISD is a study skills class for students receiving special education. So when you look at these, I highlighted in yellow some of his subjects. What do you notice? All of these subjects include some form of math. So it's a good indication that we are probably talking about a student that we would see who has some kind of specific learning disability in math, because he is obviously struggling, again, while still passing in these areas. So that shows that learning disability, probably in math, is highlighted or demonstrated in the grades. Teacher and or therapist observations will also be a source of data in the PLAAFP. And these teacher observations and therapist observations can include anecdotal observations, what they see or how they see the child is performing, what strengths they might see, what areas of challenge they might see. There might be some numerical data included in there, but it's nice if you can have a statement from each of the teachers that the student sees in each of the subjects, including electives if you're at the middle or high school, and a statement from each of the therapists that the student sees. Again, it's building that rich tapestry picture of who that student is, where they're performing, where they're might be challenged where they're excelling. So here's an example statement. In math, blank has demonstrated a 70% proficiency in addition and subtraction, indicating a solid foundational understanding of basic math concepts. Okay, time out. 70%. It says proficiency in addition and subtraction. Well, 70% is considered to be passing, but it's barely passing. So as I read along, I want you to keep the 70% in mind because there is some golden nuggets of information in here that I might be thinking as a parent, as I'm reading through the PLAAFP, that I might have for the committee. Okay. He effectively utilizes various strategies to tackle multiplication and division problems, showcasing his number sense. However, he occasionally forgets to regroup when performing subtraction, which impacts his overall accuracy. Okay, stop. Golden nugget of information. 70% proficiency in addition and subtraction, but he understands how to do addition and subtraction. And that he is having trouble with regrouping. He understands the concepts, but he's having trouble with regrouping. If this student is fifth grade or above, which in this case this student was, I am going to be requesting a 4-function calculator to use for word problem solving so that calculation mistakes don't impact the ability to answer a word problem correctly. All right. However, we did that one. Blank struggles with two-step problems and sometimes rushes through assignments, leading to careless mistakes. Okay, there's another golden nugget of information in here. He struggles with two-step problems, probably two-step word problems. So I'm going to think, oh, please let the teacher have gathered some quantitative data on this to see if maybe we need to develop a goal to be able to help the student solve two-step problems. So I have some questions I can come to the art committee with. Okay, see that he's struggling with these two-step problems. Do we have some data on this that we might consider a goal for him in doing that? So also, have we considered the use of a calculator as an accommodation? Additionally, he has difficulty comprehending the requirements of word problems, which can hinder his ability to apply learned strategies effectively. Again, this points to the need that we might need to look at some data to consider if a word problem solving goal needs to be developed in helping with these challenges in math. Another rich picture of data comes from the district. The district administers certain assessments depending on the grade that your child is in 3 times a year. And these assessments could be the M class, which is first grade usually for reading, MAP, or LTC. These assessments are given in the beginning of the year, middle of the year, and end of the year. So you see boy, you know that's beginning, middle, moi is middle, eoi is end. And it's nice because a lot of times these assessments will tell us where a child is functioning compared to grade level peers. So the example I'm going to talk about comes from the MAP test. And I'm going to go down and look at the chart, and we can see that the beginning of the year for third grade, the child was at the 41st percentile, and then winter of 2023, it's going to be middle of the year. This child's reading was in the 55th percentile. Well, both of these percentiles are considered to be in the average range. We can see quite a bit of growth from beginning of the year to middle of the year, which is a way to go, school and student. Also, when I want to compare to grade level peers, I can do some math. 41st percentile tells me that 59% of the students, this student's grade, third graders, who are used in the test did better than the student. And the student did better than 41% of the students, his grade, used to develop the test. 55th percentile, the student did better than 55% of the students used to develop the tests that were in the third grade, and 45% of the students in third grade used to develop the test did better than this student. So it's kind of like your old-fashioned bell curve. The students' achievement scores are falling right in the middle in the average range, but we do see a lot of great growth here. Another uh, point of assessment can come from the state data, which is, of course, the STAR. And the STAR is given to help to determine whether or not a student has mastered or not mastered certain grade area subject TEKS. So we see the example in the spring of 2024, blank approached grade level with a scale score of 1580 and a raw score of 20. So approach grade level is considered to be passing. And I want you to know, historically, looking at this student's math STAR test, you have to know this about this student, is that he failed his third grade STAR math and he failed his fourth grade STAR math. So approaching is a celebration for the student. We see steady growth in the student's ability in math, and the student does have a specific learning disability in math. So this was a big celebration when we saw this STAR data. All right, again, in the PLAAFP, we want a rich tapestry of who this child is. We want observational notes from each of the teachers who work with him, each of the therapists. We want district assessment, and we want to see state assessment. And if we can see both, especially the district and the state assessment progress over time, that is very, very helpful.